Hello and welcome to productlessons.com. Today I have with me our dear friend Amaresh Ojha. Amaresh and I were colleagues at Sun Microsystems in Bangalore, and he went on to build Gympik, one of India's largest marketplaces aggregation for health and fitness centers in 2013, I suppose. And since then, he has helped grow Gympik to over 40 cities across India with over zero point 0.5 million monthly visitors, 14,000 fitness centers, and 7,000 plus personal trainers, nutritionists listed with it, and not just a marketplace. They also have a product offering in full stack gym management software that covers sales, marketing, memberships, billing, booking, loyalty, and various other parts to manage gyms. Gympik has raised $5 million till date from investors that include round glass partners, and it has already 3 million odd revenues annually. And through this experience of building Gympik, Amaresh has become an expert, so to say, on marketplaces, and he consults a lot of different companies. So, in my conversations with him earlier, I asked him what helps him succeed with growing Gympik, and he said that it was his ability to get things done. And I've known Amar for a few years, especially in my organization when we worked together, and that was so true of him, his ability to get things done. So let's welcome Amaresh and learn from him how he built Gympik and the growth strategies behind it. So let me first get him on screen. Hi Amar,
Hey
welcome
Ravi,
to productlessons.com. How are you doing
thank you,
today?
thank you. Doing great. Good to be here and meeting you after a long time.
Yes. So it's a pleasure to have you. And since I cover mostly growth strategies in this channel, I'm
Hmm.
also aware that growth strategies for startups especially differ from stage to stage, isn't it? When you start,
True.
the stage is you want to acquire your first customer, and then it changes. So that's exactly what I want to know from your experience.
Sure.
An aggregator or a marketplace, as I said, differs from one marketplace to another. I just wanted to know from you and understand from you what kind of a marketplace Gympik is. What kind of actors are there in your marketplace?
So, the gym pick started with a very personal experience of mine when I started working out like a decade back. A lot of people they used to come to me and ask like, okay, since you have been working out for some time, can you help me recommend a gym, or should I go for gym, or should I go for yoga? So that's where the idea of aggregating all the information related to fitness and wellness came to the mind, and we started the platform. The idea was to help people, I mean, get what they want based on their need. So a lot of time, what happens? Suppose you want to, increase your strength, or if you want to increase your flexibility, right? So depending on these things, your requirement changes. So that's how we started Gympik, where we started aggregating everything that's being qualified as a fitness category. We started with gyms, yoga studios, Zumba classes, kickboxing, martial arts, everything that you can think of. We started with Bangalore. We saw a good traction, and we went to few other cities of India. Now we are in like almost 40 cities. So that's how the journey was. Marketplace has its own challenges a lot of times, and it's its own pros also. Like it's easier to build because you don't have to build a lot of things on your own. You just have to connect people and do that. But the service delivery sometimes becomes a problem because most of the players, or all the players that you can see in the marketplace, they don't behave in the similar way. So the service level agreement sometimes creates a problem. So that's how it is.
Nice. So, as you said, there are nutritionists, there are gym.
Yes, so we have gym instructors. On the individual side, we have nutritionists, physiotherapists, gym instructors, yoga gurus, mixed martial arts people. And on the center side, we have gyms, fitness studios, kickboxing, I mean anything that you can think of fitness. We are also adding the categories of yoga retreats, wellness retreats, and few other things in the coming months.
And a marketplace could also add, say, supplement offering players, say, whey protein and all of that. For me, as I imagine, a marketplace could have everybody who is in that market in fitness and nutrition.
Absolutely. But what happens a lot of times, see, uh, it's very easy to add a lot of people on a marketplace, but I told you it's very tough to guarantee the kind of service that we are offering, right? And that's why we haven't added most of the supplement distributors or the people who are selling the equipments and other things on our platform because of this agreement, right?
Right.
See, most of the players who are manufacturing these supplements, they don't have the right licenses, or they don't have the permission to do that. So that's why we don't get into that kind of segment where things are not controlled and the quality is not I mean checked.
Got it. Excellent. I was just checking that this was to be streamed live on LinkedIn, but it seems like LinkedIn has not given me permissions.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
okay.
we'll have to see later. But this
No
is live.
problem.
This is live on YouTube now. All
Oh,
right.
great.
As I also knew that with whatever little knowledge that I have of marketplace and aggregator, it is a business of early mover, right? The early mover can
Mhm.
capture the market fast, and the faster you capture the market, the more it becomes difficult for the new entrants to get in. So, is my hypothesis right? Is it a first mover business model, so to say?
Not really. I mean, see, the problem with the marketplace is if there's a provider which is on a marketplace A, there's no restriction for him to go to a marketplace B, right?
Mhm.
If he's offering a better deal.
Right.
So that's the key, right? So the first movers might have some advantage, but it all lies like how much value you are able to draw for the provider.
Right.
So suppose if there are 10 gyms on my platform and I'm able to give them a business of 10,000 rupees a month each, then they are going to stay with me. But if tomorrow there's another player which is going to come in the market and claiming that you come on my portal and I'm going to give you 50,000 rupees, he doesn't have any hesitation to move there, right? So it all depends how you are keeping your players or the people who are on the marketplace engaged, and you are able to derive value for them.
Right. So is it easy to move in and move outside of a marketplace? Because I thought there could be strategies where is though more stickiness, the longer a customer.
No, see, what happens is you don't own things here, right? So that's why if you see even the case of travel, if there's a hotel which is on Oyo, it's also there on Make My Trip or Clear Trip, or it's also there on Airbnb, right? So what do they want? They want to be everywhere. Since these people, they also are becoming smarter, and they also want to be at everywhere and get the maximum value out of that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. And I said that in our earlier conversation, we also said that there are a lot of players in health sector when you
Yeah,
began this, and then
true.
today it is reduced to 3 to 4 players. Am I right?
Yes. So when we started in 2014, early, there were close to 12 players who had the similar business model. I
Mhm.
mean, they were into aggregating the gyms, they were into aggregating the trainers. But if you look now, you can hardly see two or three players who are sharing the market. I think it all depends on the kind of execution strategies all these companies have. See, and also the uh, how the industry dynamics work, right?
Mhm.
Because what happens if you look at the fitness and wellness segment, is this is very different from other services industries. Is very different from travel. Is very different from hospitality and other things. So uh, it becomes key to understand how the industry works. I mean, I'll give you an example. So if you see ClassPass, which is a company that helps you buy passes, and give it to the members, right? And it's a huge success in US, even in Europe and Australia. But the company could never plan to come here
Mhm.
because the way the gyms operate or the way the memberships are being sold in India is very different from US and the Europe,
Uh,
right? So so the understanding of the dynamics in that particular geography and in that sector becomes very, very critical.
so when you said you started, there were 12 players. Were there
Yes.
also players from outside India?
No, I mean most of them were startups, Indian startups, because we all started together. I
Got it.
mean, more than half of them were funded actually.
Got it.
This is only because see what happens when you operate in a very niche market where the market size is not infinite,
Got it.
right?
Mhm.
So it takes time to build the offering that you have been thinking of,
Right.
right? So the segment that we have been operating is not like typical e-commerce or any consumer segment where it's like 100 billion or those kind of market. It's a small market. What happens, the deeper you penetrate, the more value you can derive out of it.
Got it. And what does it take then? I mean, why did only two or three players have survived now? What does it take to succeed in such an unpredictable and a smaller market?
I think I always say it's the patience that builds these kind of companies,
Hmm.
right? When you are trying to solve a problem which was never there earlier. I mean, the problem was there, but the solution wasn't there. You have to have patience, and you should keep ideating and pivoting your businesses. So the
Got it.
people who could not do that, I mean, they could not survive.
Got it. And you had the patience. It's been a patience for 7 years, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's more personal also because fitness is more like a passion for me. I enjoy what I'm doing,
Right.
so I have all the time to solve the problems this industry has, and I am going to stay here.
Nice, nice. So the growth challenges usually for a small organization and a large organization, they sometimes in some areas they are similar, the growth challenges, and in some areas the challenges are different. Like when it's a startup, your growth challenge could be, especially in initial days, it could be distribution, right? How do you reach to more people? And in the initial stage, you do not have the budget or ad budget for customer acquisition, so you need creative ways to reach your relevant market. I think I had in my previous one of my previous episode, I had shared how Airbnb grew with creative distribution. So Airbnb went to Craigslist and they started advertise and they started talking about Craigslist. PayPal used eBay and they had their payment gateway along with eBay's own gateway, and that's how it grew business. So when you started, was it all angel money that you used for getting the word out, or how did you get your first customer acquisitions?
I think it also depends on the target audience of your product, right? If you have a product and you have made this product keeping in mind a particular audience, and that should be the first thing when an entrepreneur comes to the market, right? You are building a product keeping in mind that is it's not for the entire universe, it's only for this set of people,
Got
right?
it.
So once you have that product made, it becomes easier to reach them. Either you can cold call them, you can also reach them on Facebook, you can reach them on all the channels that you have, but identifying them is the most critical thing, and that's what we happened. See, our idea was we were targeting all the people who wanted to join gym for the first time, and the second, people who were planning to change their gym, what we call either the fitness enthusiasts or the novice who are experimenting. And
Mhm.
we started targeting these people through multiple channels. We started targeting them on social media, we started targeting them on Google AdWords, everywhere they can think of. So I think we were very, very innovative in the way we were reaching these people, only
Mhm.
because we were very, very clear with whom we are targeting for.
Got it. But you were targeting, so is a marketplace, you need gyms and you also need end customers, isn't it?
Exactly. So onboarding the gyms is that's what we do. I mean, is we don't target them, we don't acquire them through other channels. How do we acquire them? Is typically we visit all the gyms, and there's a complete onboarding process where you collect all the data, then you get their images, all the contact number, the memberships that they can that they sell, and put everything on the portal. So that's the background work. For that, typically the cost is only to acquire the data and do that. So we did it in a very strategic way, where we, any new city that we got into, we hired some 100 200 local people who understand that locality and market,
Right.
make them visit all the centers that they can think of, and
Mhm.
collect the set of data. So the platform which we had created for these people to input the data had this smart intelligence where it can filter a lot of data on its own, and in the final stage we also verify the data. So a lot of these things we had solved using the technology, and the cost of customer acquisition, I mean, to buy the products what we are offering, was very targeted.
Got it. And so you did not go for the end customers, the end users. It's just only the gym owners, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's what we did, and the end users, people who want to buy the offerings the gyms has,
Right.
we were reaching them through our portal, search engine optimization,
Got
uh,
it.
on social media and everywhere.
Got it. So how did your growth begin then? Was it slow? Did it take a few months? How did?
I think, yeah, it took us a year to find out that we have really serious buyer for the offering that we have, right?
Got it.
And slowly we started seeing tracks on the platform. People were coming on the portal, they were buying the offerings what the gyms has to do. We started seeing a jump in the GMV of the company,
Right.
and then we realized, like, I mean, there are people for this offering, and that at that stage we reached to a bigger set of investors, raised more money so that we can work on our marketing offering and explore other channels.
Right. So when you reach to a investor, that is a sweet spot, right? So that means you have
Yes,
got some product market fit. That means your existing customers are happy, and now
true.
you just need some scale. So how do you know whether you have reached that sweet spot? Because usually there is no metric. You cannot measure a product market fit. What is?
I mean, I think it also depends on the feeling of the entrepreneur, I would say. See, a lot
Mm,
of time you have built a product and you start seeing the people are buying your product, they are very happy with that, and
okay,
there's an audience which is keen to buy your offering.
got it.
The only way is you have to reach to maximum number of people that you can think of, and for that you need to explore different marketing channels, and for that you need more money.
Okay. And then instead of going physically, then you have automated marketing or other marketing channels, right?
Yes.
What would be other marketing channels when you have money, so to say?
We
And
do. I mean, obviously, you do Google AdWords, you do social media, you do LinkedIn, you do Instagram, you do TikTok, everything that you can think of.
got it. Excellent. And so, as I said, in a marketplace model, what usually is the runway for an investor, right? I mean, if he is investing on you, what would be a runway for a marketplace model like you? Is it like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years?
No,
How
not really. I mean, in today's scenario, none of the investors are
thinking big?
invested for 5 years or 10 years, right? The max
Right.
people think of is 2.5, 3 years.
I see.
Right. So being it any kind of model. So what happens? These investors, they also have their own strategy. An investor which is coming in angel round probably would like to make an exit in Series A or Series B.
Ah,
Somebody who is coming in Series A might like to exit in Series C or Series D. So I think it's an ongoing journey until you become profitable. But fortunately, we are not in that cycle where we are completely dependent on the investor money,
mhm.
since we wanted to keep it small, profitable, so that we sustain and keep solving the problem this industry has.
Got it. So that means in different series there could be new partners and existing partners.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. And you are in series A or B?
We have crossed Series A,
Okay,
but we haven't raised after that.
got it. So this is related to my next question, and this is a concept which Reid Hoffman, if you have followed, calls hyperscaling, and mostly the big investors they want companies who hyperscale or hyper growth, so to say. And this has always been a question to me that who decides on the rate of growth, whether you want to expand in not just in your country but other geographies, and you pump in money. Is it the founder or the investor who says, you know what, we see a lot of potential here and we are willing to pump money and make it 10x or something of that sort? So I mean, some founders say, oh, I'm happy with the pace I'm growing, it is a controlled expansion. But an investor might not be happy. He would say, let's go hyperscale. So is it based on investor expectation, or is it the founder who decides? How does it go?
See, I think that this is a very controversial space in this year and even in the last year after the entire WeWork debacle, where SoftBank had put a lot of money and they wanted them to blitz scale,
Right.
and things didn't go the way planned, right? So now a lot of people,
We also
yeah,
face the same flag now.
Oyo also has a similar story, right? So now one thing which people are realizing is just multiplying the money is not going to multiply your business, right? uh, you you really need to have patience to build a company, right? So if you look at the bigger and established companies, I mean, if you talk about Google, Microsoft, and all these people, it's all built over time. I mean, they were not built overnight. So I think I still say like the hyper growth, the blitz scaling, and all those things are creating a lot of buzz in the academia, the discussion point. But when it comes to the companies, I think this kind of thing has a long way to go till somebody really validate them.
Mm. Otherwise, the risk is on the investor, isn't it? But there are
The risk is, yeah.
yeah, there have been some successes. Like, I mean, Airbnb went blitzscaling, and they went.
Did, but they took almost like 12 years, right? I mean, they spent a lot of time. Since the only company which I can say which has blitz scaled is TikTok, which went for like 1.5 billion downloads in less than 2-3 years. But what's the end?
Yeah, I completely get that. So I just wanted to, since you brought TikTok, which is a different segment altogether. It's a consumer product, so to say.
Yes.
So let's do a little exercise that I want to. I just saw this model and I thought I also
Sure.
shared this with you on
Yeah,
model market fit, because every product or every business has a different model than others. Otherwise, it's very difficult to compare. It's like chalk and cheese, right? So I'm just sharing a graphic
true.
which became my favorite reference to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, please.
And I would like you, Amar, to just let me know which one do you think suits the best for your business. Let me just open it, and then we can. Let me stop my screen. Otherwise, I'll show all the folders live to my audience. To downloads. So remember, Amar, we spoke about 100 million models, right?
Yeah.
And so before I show this, let's complete that conversation. So what according to you is a growth that you'd like to take it forward? Is it, I mean, why would you stop your imagination or ambition, right? But what I see from you is you want to slowly see how the market reacts and validate your product and then scale. But you not definitely would not want to stop at a certain point, right?
True. I think two things. If you look at the end of an ambition, I think it's only should not be in the terms of valuation of the company, right? It should be also in terms of how deeper you are trying to solve the problem of the industry or the sector that you are operating,
Right.
and that might restrict your uh, the valuation because you are not trying to get into other segments where you can just quickly multiply that. But it will make your company which the entire industry or the sector is dependent on.
Right. So let me share the screen now. So as you can see, this comes from 9 Point Capital. They are also VCs, and they had this interesting graphic where they segmented industries in these 5 types, and they had animals just to categorize them to reach 100 million product. Okay, and as you can see, the elephant here, and then there is the moose, and then the rabbit and mice and flies. So let's go through that example. So elephant is any product that has got around 1,000 customers who are paying 100,000 per year. So mostly these are enterprise customers like ServiceNow.
Yeah.
Moose would be 10,000 customers paying 10,000 per year for mid market like HubSpot. Rabbits are 100,000 customers paying 1,000 per year. Mice is 1 million customers paying $100 per year, and flies are products that 10 million customers with $10 per year mostly by ads like Facebook, but BuzzFeed, and you just mentioned TikTok. So I think TikTok would be a fly, and it's not fair to compare two different models. Where would you place your business to be?
I think we are the rabbits, where we are very focused on what we are doing. We are happy with the customers that we have. We try to cross sell few of the things that we have, and try to optimize the lifetime value of a customer.
Nice. Thank you. What else I had in mind? So there were a couple of things more that I had. Let me just.
Sure.
And for some reason, So as I said, COVID crisis, everybody is reeling on that, and I know fitness industry has also been affected by the entire crisis. And I was very impressed by your resilience. By the way, I saw your white paper on how do you see fitness industry trying to sail through this. So how are you preparing with this crisis and the rough times ahead?
I think, especially for the fitness segment, we are all into wait and watch state where we want to see. I think at this stage is very critical that we all stay safe, because the other things definitely can happen over time. So obviously we are communicating to all the gyms. We are trying to make sure like they are ready to open once the situation improves. Improves means when the lockdown eases, we want to make sure all these centers are following strict sanitization guidelines. They are maintaining social the distancing and other things. And that's why the product that we have for the gyms, what we call as Track It, which is for managing the gyms. We are building different features there, which makes the entire experience contactless. And I mean, you have to book a slot before you visit to a gym. So what happens? The number of people who can visit a gym at any particular time is restricted. And then you have these QR code scanners where you just scan and walk into the center, so that you really don't have to touch anything. So I think it's going to be a new world. It's a new challenge. We again see this as an opportunity, because we know this industry better than anybody else. We are building a lot of features around that, so that the gyms don't have to suffer.
Right. So you mentioned about Track It, right? So that is your gym management software.
Yes.
How did you plan to get into that space as well? Was it just a diversification, or did you?
Not really. I mean, as I said, like we want to solve the problem of this industry on a deeper level. So when we start with the marketplace, when we started having the gyms on our platform, and the gyms, once they were selling the memberships or they were getting a lead, typically it was going to them through an email or SMS, and it was getting lost in between. So that's where the idea started. How about building a CRM to start with, where this entire experience is dynamic. The moment somebody is inquiring for the gym, the lead directly goes to the gym in a consolidated dashboard where he can do that. We started with a CRM, then we realized like there are a lot of other problems, which I was talking to you last time. So most of the time the gym talks to, so if you buy membership today, the next time the gym communicates with you is when your renewal is due.
That's so true. Even in Europe, I thought Europe would have better standards, but there is no engagement from my health club as well.
True. So we thought like let's break this thing and make sure the member who is going to a gym, he feels that he belongs to the place. I mean,
Got it.
the experience becomes so well that even if you are not doing anything manually, but he feels that he's coming to gym. See, it's as simple as raising a complaint. I mean, if you don't like something in the gym, uh, you can just open your app and just write, "I am not very happy with this." That is not a very, I mean, high technology implementation, but it solves the problem of a member, and member feels that somebody is listening to what they want, what they like, what they don't like.
Got it.
So that's how Trackit started. We started with the CRM, then we got into member engagement, the renewal, and now we have a lot of other features where the gyms can manage the salary of the employees. They can also manage their entire expenses and everything. So now what happens? It becomes all-in-one club management software.
Got it. Well, excellent, Amaresh. I so much wanted to talk to you, and I think in our conversations, we anyways were talking on these topics, and I thought, why not
Absolutely.
speak to you and record these conversations? So,
Sure, sure, sure.
and I
Thanks a
absolutely
lot, Ravi. Thanks for sharing. I'm always happy to share my experience, like how we have been trying to do some exciting work, especially in a segment or a field which is like very late compared to other sectors. But I think, yeah, it's a long way.
excellent, Amaresh, and all the best for your
Cool.
future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.